Hi guys, welcome to yoga. We are today going to talk about sun salutations, which might sound like a kind of floaty, fake thing, but it's a traditional part of the yoga practice in the vinyasa style, which is what I have been teaching you. So every class I teach has some sun salutations in it, and it's important for you to know kind of what the options are and also how to do it anatomically correctly. So just a little history behind sun salutations before I start teaching them. Traditionally, sun salutations are done in the morning and facing towards the east where the sun rises. And when the season changes, it's actually traditional to do 108 sun salutations to welcome the new season and reset. So for New Year's this year, the first thing I did on January 1st was actually 108 sun A's. There are different variations. So today I'm gonna teach you sun salutation A, but that's the one that is most commonly practiced in class. So they're really just sort of a nice way to warm up your body and also a nice way to build strength. They have quite a lot of push-ups in them if you choose to take that option. You don't have to take that option, so it can really be as strength building or as gentle as you need it to be. But it's a big part of what we consider to be your flow in between sides is part of a sun A. So it's really something we do very often and important to know how to do it in the right way. So I invite you to move with me as we move through this. We might stop a couple times and I'll talk you through a few things, but I invite you to get on your mat, roll it out. If you need to pause the video and roll your mat out, go for that. And when you're ready, we will arrive here on your mats and we'll just take a moment to sort of warm up in tabletop position. So go ahead and find your tabletop with your hands right under your shoulders and your knees right under your hips. Then pull your belly up and in so that your spine gets nice and long. You have a little bit of core engagement. You have the option to tuck your toes under or to leave them untucked. And one way might feel a little bit better on your knees. And then inhale to drop your belly forward and open through your chest. And exhale to pull your chin through your chest and round in the spine. We'll just take a couple more rounds like this. This is cat and cow. It's a nice way to warm up in the spine and also in the shoulders. You can move as fast or as slow as you want. Typically we inhale to come to cow and exhale to move to cat, but you don't have to link your breath. It's up to you. Once you've started to find a little bit of warmth in the spine, I'm going to take the hands forward and press the hips back and come to child's pose. Your hips are pulling towards your heels, your arms are long, and if it's comfortable, your forehead is all the way down on the mat. You might rock your forehead a little side to side. We'll just find a little more warm up here. So press into your hands and start to pull yourself forward into a modified plank with your knees down. And when you get there, you want your spine to be, as long as you can get it, a little tucked under with your tailbone. Your ribs pull together and your fingers are spread wide so that you can press into your entire hand. And then exhale and pull yourself back through cat pose and into child's pose. We're going to move through that a couple more times. So as you inhale, press into your hands, round forward into your modified plank with your knees down. Shoulders pull down your back away from the ears. Then exhale, press back, nice and slow, rounding into child's pose. Do one more time like that. Inhale forward. all the way into that plank, shoulders right over your wrists. Neck is an extension of your spine, so keep it nice and long. And then press with the hands, push back into child's pose. From here, we're gonna get ready to move into downward facing dog. So this time as you press into the hands and come forward, you're gonna curl the toes under, lift your hips up and back, and find this inverted V shape with your body. So take a moment and pedal out your feet. Shift your weight side to side. Just allow yourself to sort of feel into this shape. This is one of the most common shapes that we come to in our practice. So it's important that it feels really good. So allow your heels to be heavy. They never have to touch the mat. Your knees can keep as much of a bend as you need. Usually we like a little space between our feet, but you can play around. It might feel better to have your toes almost touching, or it might feel good to you to have your feet a little wider. So you can take what you need, modify how it feels right for you. Then in your arms, you're gonna turn the insides of your elbows as far forward as you can, and press right into the meat of your hand where your thumb and your index finger come together. Then, see if you can lift your hips a little higher and pull your shoulders down your back. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. Rise onto your toes. And start to take tiny little tiptoe steps all the way to the top of your mat into a forward fold. And when you get there, take a moment to grab opposite elbows, sway side to side. You might bob up and down or nod your head yes and no. Just allow yourself to release a little tension here. Soft through your jaw and your eyebrows. Then release your grip, tuck your chin, and slowly make your way up to stand by pressing down with the feet. Take a few shoulder rolls here. Pick up your shoulders by your ears and then let them come down your back. Then switch out your direction, take it the other way. Eventually, coming to stillness here in mountain pose. So look down at your feet. They should be about hip distance apart. And hip distance is the width of two of your fists. So if you need to fold back over and measure two fists together, that is the width that your hips are. So usually it's a lot more narrow than you thought it was. Root down through all four corners of your feet. So instead of dumping back into your heels, shift forward into the balls of your feet. And then put a little tiny soft bend in your knees. Not a big bend, but just enough that you have a little softness in the joint. Take your hands to your hips and tilt your pelvis slightly forward so that your tailbone comes down and you should be able to feel that little engagement happen in your core. Then inhale to reach your arms overhead. As you exhale, we're gonna bring the hands to the heart. We're gonna start our first Sun A now. It's gonna be a modified Sun A. So inhale to reach your arms overhead. And then exhale to bend your knees, fold your belly towards your thighs, and then you can start to straighten the legs if you're open in the hamstrings. Inhale to a halfway lift. Your hands are gonna come to your shoulders, your shins. Your shoulders are gonna roll down your spine and your neck stays long. You wanna have core engagement here, so you're not locking out your knees. Take one more breath in. And on your exhale, you forward fold. Plant your hands, step your feet back into a plank pose. This time, we'll drop the knees down to the mat just where we were in child's pose. And pull the belly up and in. Untuck the toes. And nice and slow, bend your elbows to lower down onto your belly. When you get there, bring your forehead down to the mat. It's gonna create some nice length in your neck. Then, we're just gonna inhale to peel your chest up off the mat for baby cobra. You'll wiggle your fingers. So there shouldn't be a lot of weight in your hands, and there shouldn't be any crunching in your low back. And if there is, you come down a little lower. Gently release. We're gonna press back to child's pose. And then curl your toes, lift your hips back into downward facing dog. Take a breath in and a breath out. And rise onto your toes. Bend your knees a little and then start to step back into your forward fold. Inhale to lift halfway. Exhale to fold. Inhale, rise up into mountain pose. And exhale your hands to your heart. So that's one round of Sun A. We're gonna move through a few more rounds of that modified version. Then we'll start to add on some other versions. So inhale to reach your arms overhead. Exhale to forward fold, belly to thighs. Inhale, lift up halfway, lengthen through the spine as much as you can, pull the shoulders back. Exhale, forward fold. Plant your hands, step back into your plank. Drop your knees down, but don't take any of the work out of your core. Nice and slow, exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift the chest any amount for baby cobra. Make sure you can still wiggle the fingers. Release. Press back through child's pose or tabletop. Then curl your toes, lift your hips, and find down dog. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. Rise onto your toes. Bend your knees, look forward. Step forward, your feet to your hands. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up, reach high. Exhale, your hands to your heart. We're gonna do one more round like that, a little faster. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Step back, plank pose. Drop the knees down. Exhale, lower all the way onto your belly. Inhale, baby cobra, lift through the chest. Release. Exhale to downward facing dog. Come through that tabletop position, and then lift your hips up and back. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. Step forward, fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up to stand. Reach high. Exhale your hands to your heart, back in mountain pose. All right, so that is a modified version. You can always take that version. And I'm gonna show you a few more options now, just sort of adding on if you're working on building strength. So we'll slow it down again for this one. Inhale to reach your arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway, lengthen. Exhale, fold, plant your hands and step back to your plank. Now this time, keep your knees lifted. And find a strong plank. So your tailbone is slightly tucked, your shoulders are protracting apart from one another, and your elbows have a tiny, tiny little bend. As you exhale, you bend your elbows to lower all the way down onto your belly. Untuck your toes, bring your forehead down to the mat. We're gonna find that length again. And as you inhale, you're gonna peel your chest up off the mat, keep the length in your neck. And this time you can put a little more weight in your hands. Maybe start to straighten the arms for a fuller cobra expression. But keep your core engaged, pull the ribs together, squeeze in the glutes so that your low back is protected. From here, curl your toes under. We're gonna go straight to downward facing dog. Lift the hips up and back. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. Rise onto your toes. Bend your knees, look between your hands, then step between your hands and fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up to stand. Exhale, your hands to your heart. We're gonna do it again like that. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Plant your hands, step back into your strong plank. Exhale, lower all the way down onto your belly by bending the elbows. And inhale into cobra, arms bent or straight. Use the glutes and the core to help support your spine. Curl your toes under, press into the hands, Lift up and back, downward facing dog. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. Rise onto the toes. Bend the knees, look between your hands. Step between your hands, fold. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold out and down. Inhale, rise all the way up to stand. Exhale, your hands to your heart. All right, so we're gonna take that one full speed, matching your breath to your movement. You can drop your knees, of course, if you want to. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Plant your hands, step back into plank. Take an inhale. Exhale, lower all the way down onto your belly. Inhale to lift into cobra. Exhale, down dog. Take a full breath in. Breath out. Rise onto your toes, bend your knees, step forward, feet to hands. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up, reach. Exhale, hands to heart. All right, so I'm going to show you one more version that includes a pose called chaturanga, which you might have heard of before, but it is a low push-up variation in the triceps. So I'm going to show you that one in upward facing dog. You never have to do it if you don't want to, but we're going to walk through it now and then go from there. So come back to your mountain pose. Inhale, reach your arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Plant your hands, find your high plank. As you exhale, you're gonna lower halfway, bend the elbows. Keep the neck in line, then flip the toes, press into the tops of the feet for upward facing dog. And you wanna press right into where the toes meet the top of your foot. The thighs stay lifted, there's a little bend in the elbows, and the gaze is forward. Then roll over the toes, lift your hips up and back for down dog. Take a breath in and a breath out. Rise onto your toes, bend your knees, look forward, step forward, fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up to stand. Exhale, your hands to your heart. Again, like that, inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half. Exhale, fold, plant your hands, step back into plank. Exhale to chaturanga. You lower halfway, your arms will shake. Keep your gaze just out in front of you. Then press into the tops of your feet and keep the legs lifted for up dog. No crunch in the back. Roll over the toes and find downward facing dog. Breath in, breath out. Rise onto the toes, bend the knees, look forward, step forward, feet to hands. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise. Exhale, hands to heart. All right, we're gonna go through that one full speed, then we'll wrap it up. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Plant your hands, plank. Exhale, lower halfway, chaturanga. Press into the tops of the feet, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Breath in, breath out. Rise onto the toes, bend the knees, look forward, step forward, feet to hands. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, hands to heart. All right, so those are 3 different versions of Sun A. There are more. If you're getting really crazy, you can actually add hops. So you can hop from down dog to your forward fold, which would look like this. You take your breath in and your breath out. When you rise onto your toes, bend your knees, look between your hands, you hop both feet forward. Inhale to lift halfway. You can also hop back from your forward fold into your low push-up. I don't ever do that one because my joints don't really like it, but if you do it, you hop back into your chaturanga, your low push-up. And then when people are really advanced in yoga, they can add in like hopping into a handstand and then back into chaturanga, really crazy stuff. But we're not gonna get there today. We're just gonna talk about these three. Also really nice is that you can sometimes add variations to the top. So when you arrive in your mountain pose, extended mountain pose with your arms overhead, you can add some twisting or some side bends. Might grab one wrist and reach to each side. You can add a tricep stretch, bring your hands together and pulling your thumbs right in between your back. Or you can add a shoulder stretch where you pull down with your fist, open through the heart, find a back bend, and as you fold, you'll find this shoulder stretch here. That's really nice for the front of the shoulders. So we'll have lots of options and variations and chances to move through several Sun A's, but hopefully you built a little heat there. You can see like a Sun A is really a complete practice all by itself, which is pretty cool. So if you ever just need a quick reset or a little break from studying or you're feeling stressed, you can always just hop into some Sun A's and you'll feel the energy start to move around in a nice little refresh. So we'll practice them next time we see each other, but thanks so much for watching, and maybe go practice a few more. Take a Shavasana. You should always end your practice with Shavasana. And I'll see you soon. Namaste.